question, and I don't know if there's an answer to it or not, but with all of the findings in the State Board of Account audit, one was suggesting that we go further into an investigation. Is there any movement on that? Or I know we can't sign a contract, so I don't know how we move forward on that.
Yeah, Heather and I have actually been in communication with some folks about what that looks like and how we may be able to lean into their recommendation for an investigation. So that's certainly something that we're tracking down.
Thank you.
Just briefly, I want to remind the public, obviously, as Kelly just mentioned, we have our budget meeting on 9/22. And that's certainly something that I look forward to having the public engaged in. We have had discussions. Heather and I are in the process of and Councilor Burke or Vice President Burke, specific to redistricting. That's something that is a town council initiative that would have to be done by the end of the year. And we are working on that. We're obviously a little bit time crunched right now, the next couple months. So on 10/25, I wanted to announce on October 25th, and obviously all counselors are welcome to attend this. I'll be hosting an ARPA meeting here in Town Council Chambers. Heather will be here to help talk about the legalities of what we can and can't do with ARPA money. I think it's important, as we've talked about in the past, to make sure that we get input from the community. We've heard from the chamber, we've heard from Z-Works, we've heard from other folks that have interest. And there are some parameters associated with how we can spend that money. As we've talked about when this first came out, we're required to have an ARPA plan for this spending, and that currently doesn't exist. So I think it's important to get this input from the community to make sure that we can put an ARPA plan in place and figure out where the taxpayers want their money to go. So Amy, I would imagine we might have to post because of the possibility of a quorum for that.
Right.
So
yes.
President Plunkett, what was the date and time?
It's going to be October 25th. And I think we're going to block out between 6 and 9. I mean, it's a long stretch. I don't know how much participation we actually will receive, but depending on what that response is, we may have a follow-up meeting for that as well, just to make sure we can get everything in. So anything else from counselors? Up next is old business, and there is no old business. Moving on to new business. There's one item, a consideration of approval of Zionsville Volunteer Fire Department final asset distribution letter to the town of Zionsville. This is, and Heather, I'm going to lean into you, and I know Jeff's in the back. I don't know if he wants to come up and say anything, but obviously this is something we've worked on for a few years, just the asset transfer and that transition from volunteer fire department. We don't have the account set up to accept the assets. That's something we'll do at the next meeting. However, this is one of 2 final steps to approve the letter. Correct, Heather?
Correct. Yes. So you may recall the mayor's team, and we also provided input back in October of 2021, worked on putting in place an agreement with the Zionsville Volunteer Fire Department about them winding down their services and then transferring their final assets to the town of Zionsville. This is something that had already been signed and executed, but there is a process by which they have to follow statutorily. So all that's being requested today is that the town council vests the authority in President Plunkett to sign that agreement. The mayor will also have to sign that agreement. And then, as President Plunkett noted, we'll be working with Kelly and the finance team because we'll need to establish a fund that will be a specific fund in which those assets will be receipted. So that'll be something we'll bring back. But this is this is just vesting the authority in the town council president so that we can complete that piece and then start working on the fund transfer. And again, the mayor has to sign as well as President Plunkett as the town council president.
Heather, when can we do that? It seems like a fairly simple.
Yeah, it is. We'll have the fund, I think, back at the next meeting. So once that's set up, then they'll just be signing the agreement and then start transferring the final assets once that fund is established.
So you just, maybe the next meeting we pass that.
We should be able to complete it, by the end of September or mid-October. I guess our next meeting is October 2nd.
Heather, how long will the volunteer fire department continue to operate, I guess, at its location?
I would
That's
have to, yep,
Yeah.
I'll see an
And
assist,
maybe-
phone a friend.
Maybe the chief could come up as well. I have a concurrent question for you as well.
Jeff Beam, I'm the treasurer for the Volunteer Fire Department
Jeff.
Corporation. Specifically to answer your question, the Volunteer Corporation no longer exists.
Okay,
It has not existed since February
that's when we took.
of 21, if I remember correctly. All the years kind of flow together here after a while, but since February of 21 was actually our corporate dissolution. So it has not functioned since then.
So the actual fire department over in Perry Township no longer functions.
No, this is the Zionsville Volunteer
The
Fire
volunteer.
Department. The Perry Township Volunteer Fire Department, which I think you're alluding to, still functions.
Okay, great. Excuse me. I got those mixed up. I appreciate it. And that was my follow-up question. So I just want to make sure that the Perry residents continue to have fire service and enough fire service.
You're correct. Two separate organizations.
Thank you.
And if I can, just a moment. With relationship to this final asset distribution, the assets of the volunteer fire department have all been transferred to the town of Zionsville. That was done in November of 2021. The only thing that we're trying to do now is at that time those assets were distributed, you've already received $600,000 that you receipted somewhere.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay.
I don't know.
So just to be clear, and I know Kelly's new to her position too, just so we're clear, is it, are there any other financial assets being receipted, or that's it?
The final financial asset is this $135,000 that is left that we had held for a time to make sure that we did not have any other liabilities that came up as a part of the dissolution. We're now trying to finalize and send off this final distribution, and that's what we're trying to accomplish now.
So that should be easy to find. Just go back to the minutes from that meeting and look at the fund that was established, and then can that fund accept these dollars as well?
I would say I shouldn't speak.
No?
Okay. So I think Kelly had something to say. She was giving us the high sign back there.
That's when preparing for this meeting, that's exactly what I did. And what we found was that it had been noted in the meeting that a fund needed to be established. Internally in finance, we established a fund, but we didn't do anything formally. So and we realized that too late for this meeting. So that's why we will have it at the next meeting. But I've went through everything. Everything looks good. It is in a separate fund. But we just need to establish that formally in front of the town council at the next meeting.
So that money's there. It's not floating around anywhere.
No, it's all there.
So that's there. And to your point, it just need to be finalized specific to this.
Yeah,
And-
we just didn't realize that until
Yeah. Perfect.
late last week.
All right. Thank
Will
you.
there be some definition of what that fund is restricted to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I believe it was also in the agreement that was signed by the parties back in October, and we could probably find that agreement and recirculate it to the council just so it's fresh in your mind. I know I think it was also in the packet, right, Amy? Because that it was all included, I think, in those packet of documents, now that I say that, so.
Yes, it was.
Cool. Thank you. Are there any other questions or anything from counselors?
No, I just want to thank everybody that was involved in that organization, because I think it brought some good opportunities to the town of Zionsville and its fire department over the years. So thank you, Jeff, and everybody involved.
we need to make a motion then to,
Yeah, I think we probably just need to make, what type of motion?
Yeah, just a motion to vest the authority in President Plunkett to sign the final asset distribution letter on behalf of the town council.
I'll second Heather's motion. I'll make a motion to allow President Plunkett to have that authority to sign on behalf of the town council.
Second.
First by Counselor Garrett, second by Vice President Burke. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. Up next is other matters. Are there any other matters from counselors?
Just to be clear, so at the next meeting, then we'll formally establish that fund. Is that, so you've got the authority to sign the letter. We just don't have the official fund to put it in.
Right.
All right, I follow.
Yep. Now I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Counselor Garrett. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6 in favor, 0 opposed. The next regular town council meeting is scheduled for October 3rd, 2022 at 7 PM in the Zionsville Town Hall Council Chambers. Final notice will be posted in compliance with the Indiana Open Door Law. Thanks so much.